used to stand in the corner and do my little ballet movements because I went to Faye Simpson School of Dance. She took me at the age of 3, although normally you'd have to be 4 before you went.
So there was a little star from there.
Yeah, sure. And
I will say it for you.
Good one.
Former St. Hugh High School head girl and house captain is known to many as Charlotte instead of Paula Shaw. She is a choreographer of no mean feat who knows how to make anybody look like they can dance, including me, because she has choreographed me in a production. Today on Curtain Call, we sit with her to get a closer look at the journey of this wonderful creative being. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you so much, you guys. Love you guys. You really make me feel like family.
You are family.
We have so many questions, but truth be told is, and this is probably just not as how it's arranged, but I want to start with your family, with your husband in particular.
Boy.
You know, when we meet him, he's always quiet. He's always with you and is very supportive.
Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about
No,
Sir
you
Milton.
it's like you read my mind, Damion, because actually I thought about it. I said it actually to a friend of mine. If it weren't for Chris and the way he is, all of this probably would not have happened, because he is very supportive, allowed me to have these 2 children who he was very instrumental in looking after, to allow me to be out at all hours of night at rehearsal and all the rest of it. And this is all in addition to being an excellent father and a supportive husband. I'll tell you that he loves his work. And from we met, he was a student, I was a student. I mean, I said to him what I admired, apart from other stuff, but what I admired, of course, was that he loved his work. And I think that's what he appreciated with me, because he could see the passion. Sounds a little corny, but yeah, I love what I do.
Does your husband dance too?
He does not. When he does, he gets a laugh. So he doesn't dance. But he appreciates nice movements. So, yeah, but the short answer is he does not dance.
Okay.
He does not dance. But he is a designer.
Yes.
So that he appreciates good design, which you have to be able to do when you choreograph.
Yes.
And he has an artistic eye. So, yeah.
So he's a visual storyteller.
He absolutely
and you're
is.
a storyteller through movement.
Right.
That's
But
a nice combination.
but that's also, sound and movement where you're concerned. So how did you get into dance, the world of dance? Because we know you have a 9-to-5. But,
Right.
How did Paula Golson get into dance?
Good one. I can't remember a time when I wasn't dancing. I remember my grandparents' house off Hagley Park Road, which I thought was like a mansion, which turned out to be like a little pocket. I used to stand in the corner and do my little ballet movements because I went to Faye Simpson School of Dance. She took me at the age of 3, although normally you'd have to be 4 before you went.
So there was a little star from there.
Yeah, sure. And,
I know you won't say it, I will say it for you.
And so I would practice my little moves with the plants and so on. So I was always dancing. I come from a family who loved music. And it's so funny because my dad passed on a couple of years ago, and in clearing out the family home, I knew he had this massive record collection, some of which came over from his father, who lived next door. And in fact, I found the reasons why I think I loved musical theater, because Bubbling Brown Sugar was one of the LPs. One of Father Holong's first LPs was among the set, along with a whole range of classical. Classical was the most thing, but in other words, musical theater. So I was listening. I think it was a part of my socialization. Osmosis.
Because didn't you do choreographer of Bubbling Brown Sugar years later?
That's what I mean. Years later.
And then that's the funny thing. I also heard in what you said, Father Holong.
Right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's just incredible. And also, I found ballet. I was the apple of my grandfather's eye. I was his first grandchild for a long time. And he thought that I should do ballet. So I started doing ballet, and he bought these record sets, vinyls, of course, we're talking about. And so I have a whole set of vinyls and a little book, a little ballet book that showed you how to do the positions and things.
This is before you too.
Yeah, this is
Weird for you too.
This is coming like from, so as you say, it's like osmosis. It's just weird. Just super weird.
It was set up. It was,
yeah.
One would almost say it was ordained for you to go down this path. But you went and studied Laban technique.
Yes, yes. So I love to teach.
Right.
So like when I was in my grandma's garden and teaching the flowers and doing my little first position, second position, whatever, away from the crowd, away from the maddening crowd, because they're all on the veranda. Because I was shy. I'm still shy. And, you know, that's where I thought, I need to get this thing, you know, going. And Mrs. Simpson obviously recognized talent, the little talent that there was.
And passion, I guess.
And passion, yeah. And so we moved in that direction.
Okay, so because you're trained in dance education, among other things.
Yes, and I was starting to tell you that I studied movement at Frobel University. It was movement for education, which is wonderful because it gave you a deeper understanding of how to codify movement. Now, this is not ballet now. This is just general movement that you're going to use to teach movement to children, to help them discover who they are and what their bodies can do. So that was Frobel, and then that was the first degree, an education. And then Laban now, which is now University of Goldsmith, a part of University of Goldsmith in
the UK.
In the UK.
Is there any connection to the Goldsmith and Goldson?
Yeah. She just golden. Why don't you just explain to me?
Or silver.
Right. What you just explained to me reveals a lot, because I've always marveled as an actress at how you make everybody feel comfortable as a dancer. And I see now it's not just because you have a great sense of empathy, because you're one of the most non-ego driven creative collaborators I think we've ever worked with, and I'm sure everybody else has worked with you. But that explained it. It was innate and then it was trained. This sense of finding within the child within each person.
I get that, but there's also a thing that in terms of my experience with you is that you take away the whole scary moment of thinking that, you know, I have to be a dancer, and literally we forget that we are dancing. Right. You don't even use movement. You're just like, okay, let's play a little and see where it goes. So now I understand, maybe I'm a little flowers.
You are a little flower, you're a plant. Because
you could be. You can be anything you want to be.
because I've always marveled also at how when Damion is in director mode and you're the choreographer on the productions that Independent Actor Movement has done, is that he'll go and you go, okay, I get it, and then you step away and you choreograph. I'm like, I don't even understand what he just said, and he does something in his face, and it's like, so I don't know. You have some special dice discernment
which I think is a nice segue into the question of how does your mind work? You know, you spoke about your moment with your flowers, but how is it that Paula interprets what is on the page, interprets the music, and then interpret what is given to her, which oftentimes is not plenty dancers. How is it that your mind works? How do you put this together?
First of all, I love a challenge. So working with non-dancers is joy for me because I want the best for them. And in fact, it's easier to work with non-dancers than dancers who are trained, who are going to give you what they think you want. Right. Who are all, pulled up and technical and things, right? So I rather. But the fact how my mind works is musicality. And we're talking musical theater.
Right.
But even when there's no music, you've got to get into the head, just like a director. I think of myself as a director of movement.
Right.
So you've got to get into the head of the character and think about the psychology, think about how they would move, and use that. I mean, it cannot be superficial.
I know, but there's something else I want to, focus on is when you're working with your process, but then you come across a child or an adult who, what we would say in Jamaica, nana rhythm. How do you then allow or bring out the inner dancer, so to speak?
Well, that's one of the main tenets of being a good teacher, a good educator. You take the child, who may be an immature dance adult, right? You take them, the challenge is to take them from where they are to kind of sort of where you want them to be or where they need to be. You have to use what they give you.
And everybody has something to give.
Everybody has something to give. There are no loose parts. There is nothing. There are no small parts. There is no small roles.
That's right.
Everybody has something to give. And the fact of the matter is, you have to be guided by your director. You have to be guided by your director because the director would have gone into the work in much more detail than certainly in the initial stages.
Right.
I mean, there are different directors. There are some directors who know what they want. Like an Alwyn Bully, I remember there was one piece I did for, I can't remember which show. Could have been Pearly.
I was just about to say
that. Sarafina?
It wasn't Sarafina.
And Mama, I Want to Sing?
It could have been.
Right.
It could have been one of those. And there was a song, and I did something, and he said, yeah, but, I think it's about men, and it needs to be more powerful, and he kind of went, And I thought, I get you. We gonna give you, And in fact, it worked out really well.
It was,
everything was, and it worked out really, really well. And it was a case of saying, yes, be men, be strong, and all the things that he wanted. There are some directors who are not sure,
right.
And there are some directors who have no idea and say, do your
here's
thing.
a blank canvas.
Yeah, do your thing. But in theater, there's no blank canvas. And that's the difference between choreographing for theater, whether it's musical theater or not,
right.
As opposed to doing recital dancing. Because in recital dancing, you choose the music, you choose the dancers, you choose a costume, you have autonomy. I find in the theater, I always say to people, you don't have that autonomy. You get the people you're going to work with, you get the script, you get the music, You get, well, not so much a costume, but you have all of those. You have the stage, the space. You got to just make it work.
Yeah.
You have got to make it work. And it goes back to the fact that I like a challenge.
So you mentioned two things just now. You mentioned the name Alwyn Bully, and you mentioned Pearly. Pearly was the first production I worked with you. Damion as well, we're on stage in Pearly.
Yeah.
And Alwyn Bully, by virtue of us working with him when we were at drama school, we ended up coming to see, I think Sarafina may have been the first one. And I think that's where I became aware of Paula Shaw, outside of seeing your name on a program with Father Holong and friends. So I'm going to use that to get into the different productions that you've worked on through the years. So if you could go back a bit.
Yes, way back.
Let's go way back. Let's flip the script to page 1.
Yes.
When did you start working in dance or dance theater?
Father Holong and friends, it was at Little Theatre. Father had his Sinner hit and had done concerts prior. And then he decided to make a comeback. I was working with...
It should have been around when,
1985.
Okay.
That was the first concert that was his sort of comeback. I was teaching at Immaculate Prep. Sister Mary Murphy was working along with Father Hole on the whole Catholic thing. And she said, I had done an end-of-year production. It was quite a production. And I had used this technique called light motif, which means life motif, I think. Anyway, you listen to the music and you give, I learned it from Mrs. Simpson, and you use the music to dictate the movement, the costumes, the groupings, the whole thing. It's like an orchestra. Anyway, she said to me, come and work with Father Holong. Long story short, I have this group of singers. They can move, but they're not accustomed to moving.
Right.
They were accustomed to standing in front of stand-up mics and
singing.
Singing was their
Probably
thing.
the shoulder move here and there.
Right. And I'll tell you what I did learn after that first experience was less is more. You have to understand that you can't break the neck of the singer or you can't turn too much because it affects the voice.
Right.
You can't get them to move too far away from the microphone. We can't hear them. Now, this is not clip-on mics days. This is stand-up mics days. So they step back, they do a little thing, and they come back behind the mic. And I learned that you don't need to do so much movement. Cut it back, wind it back.
When did you learn that part?
After the production.
Oh, okay.
After the production, after seeing it, and also working out in my head what was appropriate. And appropriateness is my watchword. Any theatrical production, any concert, any movement, task you give me, what is appropriate? Why? Don't tell me about doing some ballet business in a folk piece. It don't fit unless you want to be funny.
Stylized.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to do like juxtaposed contrasting.
Exactly.
For a particular effect of the story.
Absolutely. There has to be a reason.
Right.
There has to be a reason. Why? And I ask myself that question all the time. Why choose this? Why choose that? And of course, like architecture, you have design, but you have to understand concrete and steel and stone and glass. So you have to understand balletic steps and movement and stuff like that. But you also have to learn design and how to put it together to make
Symmetry
it work.
and flow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 1985, Father Holong, and then you went on to work on many other projects with Father Holong, and then you started working with Alwyn Bully how?
Well, Alwyn came to work with Father Holong's productions, and that was the connection for Alwyn.
And then you and Alwyn worked not only on Father Holong productions. What year did you start with the JMTC?
That I cannot answer. I do not know.
Sometime after that.
No, I can tell you. it was Guys and Dolls in 1999. How did I remember that? Because I asked somebody. But the fact of the matter is, no, what happened was, it was some folks, Michael and Maurice, were working with Alwyn on Once on This Island. Were you in Once on This Island?
No, I was actually in drama school at the time, and Keisha Patterson was the child star in Once on This Island. That I recall. That was the company limited that Alwyn had at the time. He and Sheila Griner, a couple of them had that theatre company.
Okay, so it was, having gone to see that production, Maurice or Michael or somebody came and said, you know, we're doing JMTC, would you like to choreograph? We're doing Evita. I always hesitate. And then I think, why not? And because it's a challenge, and I like a challenge, and let's go. But there's always that little pause.
Yeah.
Think. Okay, let's go. And then once you say, let's go, get all into it. We all had auditions, you know, at Prairie, and Keisha Paxton was going to be the star, Evita. And when I tell you auditions in those days, I don't know what it was. Maybe there wasn't a lot of other stuff going on, but there were
a lot of kids.
Can I tell you? A whole heap of people.
I saw a glimpse of it when we auditioned for Pearly, because it was like you had rounds of it on that Sunday. Yeah. And this would have been like 2004, so I can imagine what it was. In fact, I know some people who work in corporate now who said that they came up through JMTC. Yeah, they're like, I wasn't good at it, but my parents wanted me to do X and Y, so it was a thing to do.
Yeah, it's like my daughter who was in a JMTC production, just like a lump on a log. And we thought, that's it, no theater. Look at her now.
And look at her now.
Yeah. So I can understand that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, Evita needed copyright permission, which was not granted. Pivot to Guys and Dolls. Old time musical. And
you had been primed on all this time.
Yeah, well, I think. And I always loved watching movies as well, you know, apart from the LPs in the record collection. Yeah. So it was Guys and Dolls. There was another moment. It was Peter Haley, I think, was going to direct, because he used to do all of their stuff.
He used to direct.
Right, and that was fun, interesting, fun. And Peter was one of those guys who was like, whatever you like, you know, do whatever. You got free reign, do your thing. So that was a JMTC. And then eventually, back to the Alwyn come around, had Alwyn Bully as director, Peter Ashburn as director of music. I'm going to remember her name, who was a vocal coach. It's Miss B, oh gosh. And myself as movement director. And we did Sarafina as one of the things. Alwyn had a preference for doing either local, Caribbean, or Afro-American work, which ended up with Pearly. Mama, I Want to Sing, stuff. But Sarafina, in fact,
we got to act with Mr. Haley as Kachi P in Pearly.
That's right.
We walked him up the stairs.
That's right. Yeah, that was something.
How many years did you spend doing JMTC? Do you rough?
Well, if you count 99 to about, when would you say was your last production? Mid 2000s, late 2000s.
Yeah.
So more than a decade.
I would say about 10 years. I was going to say about. I was trying to remember when we did Sarafina.
We did Sarafina around 2002 or 03, one of those years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, keep a seat. That's what I can remember.
No, Sarafina was super special.
It was amazing production.
Super special.
And I think I saw both casts, because Tisha Duncan was in that. Patrick
she was
Evans was
amazing.
in that. It was, and Stewie was in
Stuart Brown.
Yes.
I really feel that production could have run like how we've seen other productions internationally run. So, Sarafina could be running for a whole year.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that when there was benefit, the shows were just sold out literally. I mean,
Literally,
it
they
was,
were, yeah.
Yeah,
It was very high quality, and Jenny Stevens
Jenny
was
Stevens.
on in terms of the book, and you know.
It was an amazing
Alright, so
production.
JMTC, Father How Long, and somewhere around 2010.
Before that, she had some movement with the singers.
Yes, you do
Folk
choreography with
singers,
Jamaican
Jamaican folk singers.
Yes.
Yes. I was trying to remember what year. Any ideas? Can you take us? I mean, seriously?
No. But I know where Sabrena is going with this in terms of 2010 and us, but I'm just looking at the texture of your palette. Here you have JMTC, you have Father How Long, and here you also have
traditional folk.
Traditional
folk.
And you said in terms of movement and so on, did at any point you were working on a number of productions?
At the same
At
time.
the
Oh
same
Lord,
time?
yeah. That happened one year. I was working on like 3 productions. I don't know how I did it. And I can't remember the year. It may have been 2011 because that was the year I did Last Call with Kieran King.
Kieran King, yeah.
Kieran had a countdown clock, okay? And I'd never had that before. And that was super nerve-wracking. But the wonderful thing about Last Call was it was one of those things that I was really proud of because the movement was minimal. It wasn't in-your-face choreography, which is my preference. And Chappie, our dear Chappie,
Yes.
he said to
Francis Saul
me,
Juice.
Paula, that's a lesson in how not to over-choreograph.
Yes.
And I was, apart from the fact it was
And you had
Chappie,
a great cast too. You had
Yeah.
Rochelle, you had, I think Sakina was in that movie.
absolutely,
Was in that.
yeah, Maurice Brand, Shane Powell.
Powell,
Shane
yes,
Powell
was
was
in
in it.
that too. Yeah, you had a very good
And
cast.
Shane said to me, I was wondering how long it was going to take you to notice that, you know, I have a little duck turning thing. I said, look, man, I got you a long time.
Yeah.
I see that. No problem. It's going to be a part of your character.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, fine. Yeah.
So you make movement comfortable for everyone. You know, we've established that whether you're a singer, whether you're an actor who's an actor, whether a musical theater actor. And then I was saying 2010 when I remember Damion coming to say, oh, he's gonna ask Paula to choreograph on the track. I'm like, no, because she's a choreographer. This is not quite a musical. I'm doing a rhythmical because we're not really singers. And so if it was up to me, I wouldn't have asked you because I was very afraid that you'd see that we didn't have the chops and then you came in.
And I'm going to tell you that one of my, I think, if I can blow my trumpet just a little bit, one of my most inspired things, and it wasn't in a whole scene. Do you remember how Winner's Circle started?
All right, so Run the Track was it actually?
Run the Track,
Run the
okay.
Track was the first thing we worked on in 2010.
Yes.
Now I remember.
Yes.
Right. So we hadn't even gone to children's theater yet.
Okay.
But a year after, having worked with us on Run the Track,
Yeah.
you came in 2011 to work with our very first children's theater production, which was Anansi Chapter's The Beginning. So I think by then, Damion, you had figured out your chemistry or something. And you worked with us in bringing that new vision to life. That's when they started to dissect the in this one.
Or it was coming out a lot more.
It was coming on a lot more.
And then the truth of the matter is, you said that the director has a larger vision of the production and where it's going, and that's true. But the connection I had with you and the script was, I wrote it, and I would just give it to you, and you said, well, yeah, I have a few notes. And where you were going with it, we had not discussed yet. Where you were going with it was literally what was going on in my mind. So I knew, and we've seen that over the series, was that I trusted you. I was good. Paula know what I was thinking. Mark,
And if I don't get it, you tell me.
Yeah. Or if it needed a little something else tonight, I go, Paula, why don't you? Yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. And Paula don't know what that is, but she just said, okay.
And then she has a face like, she tilts her head when you say you're seeing this, like she's saying, what is he seeing? But then she says she gets it, and she's like, okay, and then she goes back. But you jumped to In a Circle, which was our third one. And I said third one because...
So what was hers?
First was the beginning, second was
Gold Rush,
and
third
Okay,
was Winner's Circle.
It's the beginning,
Yes.
when we had the animals coming across the stage.
Yes.
No, that was, and it was my girl who danced with NDTC now.
Jillian.
Gillian Steele, yes.
Who had to be, I thought, how am I going to get a giraffe?
Yes.
And Jillian did her penché.
Yeah, I would have never imagined getting a giraffe with a hand. 'Cause I was like,
It was with a foot.
Yes, it was with
See
her.
there?
She did the penché with her leg and then bent the foot, and it was just, well, I thought it looked fabulous.
Yeah, and she was a second former at the time, so she wasn't even NDTC yet.
Yeah.
You know, but you found a way to give someone who obviously had a vocabulary in their body the opportunity to shine. You did that for a couple of the kids who did some amount of dance elsewhere. And then for the other kids who had not done any dance, you found a way to give them, you know, the freedom of movement or the confidence of movement. So, Anansi Chapters, Independent Actors Movement, Children's Theatre, you were with that production, which is ours, when it was literally, we don't have no money to make no set, till we actually figured out how to make no money, make a set look good. And so I want to know what makes you commit to processes of evolution when some persons might think this is a waste of time. These young kids don't know what they're doing. What made you come and what made you stay through the whole series? Because we did 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just love it. I mean, I'm intrigued. All right, let me think about this. I am intrigued by movement and movement design. And sometimes you need to have a big stage and sometimes you need a small stage. It's just intriguing. It's just a challenge. I mean, I don't know. Yes, you give it a second thought, but the second thought don't last long. Because there is no reason not to do it. It is a challenge, it is intriguing, and it's no different from any other production, frankly.
I get
you have to give 110% to every and any production. That's me.
I get you, Paula, but the question is, Sabrena and I, at the time, we literally were
figuring it out.
Yes, and
We
for you
started
to,
something with other young people who were figuring it out. And it fascinates me that you decided, okay, they're not established, but I'm going to go on this journey with them. And then you did 1 year, you could have said, oh God.
Yeah, I've had enough.
But you came back. And you came back till we found, okay, this is our form, this is our way of doing children's theatre.
You know, we look at people and you make assumptions about them, and sometimes you're not right. So, each production is, I don't know, each production, I've said this, I'm just repeating myself, it's a challenge. Why would I not stay?
Okay.
Why would I? It's a production. And maybe it was more of a challenge. Who knows? Right?
Because you love a challenge.
Maybe it was more, but I love a challenge. How are we going to make this work?
But have you ever had a situation in a production where everything that could go wrong goes wrong with the choreography or with what you had planned? And if yes, how did you wheel and come again with it?
I can't think of anything per se. I mean, I know you go through several iterations. I can't think of anything that just didn't work. Well, then again, you deal with the deck of cards that you're dealt, because sometimes you need to do a piece that requires dancer skills. and you don't have the dancers.
Why does that sound like?
That's what I am production, so why that sound
Yeah,
like
that sounds very personal. You know, I love you, but Lord, you know.
No,
how
trust
do you
me.
do with
No,
that?
no, if you're aware that you know, are not so great, but if you're like, Father, how long you think Sam can...
Yeah. Father have him father rock.
He has his rhythm.
Yeah,
he have his own rhythm.
The question though is, have you ever done a whole set of choreography and then have had to change it? And how did that work with, of course, the time that you would have spent and then realize, oh, wow, it's
not working.
There have been times when we've had to just leave bits out. Nothing that needed to be redesigned, although we have taught stuff late in the day. The show is like 2 days away from opening, and you need to find something to fill a gap, or people have forgotten what you taught them, which is an indication that it was too difficult in the first place.
Right.
So now is a chance to change it. And it's almost never too late to change. That's my motto. Almost never too late to change.
2 questions. One, we know Paula Shaw, non-egotistic, beautiful, so on. But is there or have there ever been a get vex me done with this your production, Paula Shaw? Has that,
I've come close.
What wrong with that director you are, them people here, kind of thing?
I've come close, and I won't call names, but I've been lucky. I've been really lucky to have a good rapport with my director, who I follow. But there have been
close calls.
Yes, close calls when I'm like, seriously? I've never felt my integrity as a movement director challenged.
Okay.
It's just, in other words, you're not coming to this rehearsal, and you signed up to do this thing, and I'm like, yeah, this is one of several others which I had kind of told you about before.
Yes.
I think I told you the story. I don't want to call names.
No, we're
but
fine.
Yeah,
we're fine.
I was like, wow. And there was another occasion in another setting where actually the performers did question my integrity as a choreographer in like, how was she know?
Oh dear.
How was she know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was very angry inside, and I just thought, but it's so funny because Karma and the same ringleader came back around, and after the season, he said to me, I see now where you were going or why you were going there. And I thought to myself, man, did you have to bring it out to me like that?
Trust the process, yeah.
Yeah, did you have to be so rude about it? And this was not the director. This was
that's fine. You did say cast.
Yeah, who was like, no, in other words, and we've done this for all these years. Why are we changing it now? And I was like, man, we need to change because you need to refresh.
Yes.
And I was happy that I did not back down. So I'm what's the word? I will go along.
You're a nice lady, but you're not.
Yeah, but I'm not an idiot.
Suffer fools.
And I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not the production. And you cannot see what I can see. You cannot be up there performing and see what that's when I get passionate.
Yeah.
That's when I get passionate. When, you're saying, oh, but, and it's not a thing of, can I suggest? It's like, no. And I'm like,
defiance for no reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You cannot see it. I'm looking on and I'm trying to make you look good.
So other than a challenge, what inspires Paula Shaw? Or who?
Oh gosh. Call me easy to please. I don't know.
I can't saltfish.
I can't fish. Inspires her.
Look here. Oh, I know. I can't. Was it Disco Inferno? Disco Inferno, JMTC.
That's about 05, 06.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take your word for it. So there was a scene where the song was taking place in a dressing room, changing room, bathroom scenario. And I had a vision of having these folks, I think there were 3 persons on stage in front of a bureau with a mirror, getting them to do mundane actions, gestures, combing hair, putting on makeup.
Stage visit.
Right.
You know, making it look like it's
Right.
flawless and natural.
And getting it to work as a choreographic piece. I think that was, and you know what? The darn thing was I set up that problem myself. I mean, the director didn't demand it of me, but I thought it would be nice.
Yes.
And man, going back to crazy ideas, maybe that was one of them. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do for fun? What relaxes you?
Yeah.
Watching TV. I don't say listening to music, because listening to music is not relaxing for me. I know people will say, oh, play some soothing music. If I play music while I'm I'm not a good sleeper, but if I play music while I'm trying to fall asleep, it's work. I'm designing. I'm choreographing in my, instead of trying to go, no, it's not about, it sounds high flown, it's not high flown. It's counting rhythms, counting notes, listening for the lead instrument. Oh God, man,
So
it keeps you awake at night. Yeah,
No.
and sometimes I dream stuff.
So what genre of movies or what on TV do you watch?
Anything that's stupid and you don't have to think about it.
Girl, at
comedy.
the end of a work day, that's all I want. Some Family Feud and some comedy.
I'm telling you, that's me. No, that's my relaxation. You don't have to think too hard. Yeah. That's me.
Something simple.
Jason Bourne is good, you know.
I don't want nothing scary before I go to my bed.
I'm telling you, and I'm easily scared because my imagination is like always on high octane.
You've worked with Alden Bully.
Yes.
Certainly, he has been an inspiration to you.
Well, we hope we wonder.
No,
For sure. I can confirm.
Thanks. Okay. She wouldn't have done that to herself.
Yeah.
Who else inspires you?
Who else inspires me? I'm always inspired by my, I mentioned my dance teacher.
Miss Simpson.
Mrs. Simpson. Yeah. She always wanted me to do a full-length ballet. That's one. But I'm not sure if that's what you meant, because each director has taught me so much stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I remembered working with Norman Ray on Into the Woods.
Yes.
Sondheim? What the hell?
War Theatre, because I think may have been one of the last
Theatre.
productions on
Yes,
War
it
Theatre.
was.
Yeah. And I loved the experience, but it was tough. Norman was a little bit unsettled, uneasy, a little floundering in that production. And but I think the inspiration is just watching directors work and learning from them and learning how to get things out of actors, because a director's going to get the words and the emotions and all this stuff. I'm going to get the movement to match.
Yes.
So I need to cue in and zone in on the directors. And as I said, I've been lucky to work with several.
I mean, I've also been lucky to work with you, and that's what you said a while ago about watching the directors work. I know based on our rehearsal schedule, you're not scheduled for the day, but you come anyways.
Yes.
And you watch, and sometimes there's not any movement within that particular scene, but you're like,
Yes.
and you're not offended if it's not taken.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is amazing.
Is it? Okay.
It is.
I'll take it.
The point I made earlier about you not having a big ego, because some persons have big ego because of their age or because of their experience or because of whatever reason. But because as I said to you, when he said Paula, I was like, no, we're not in her league. We're not.
Yes,
I didn't say
we
those.
thought that,
I
we
didn't
thought
say
that.
those words, but
Yes.
those certainly were my thoughts.
Yes.
You know, that we're not ready for her yet. But I've never seen a display of ego.
And you know how chuffed I am when people ask me to do stuff? I am, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So there's some quintessential.
There's one other thing I want to point out about. You're very considerate. I remember a couple of times when we're like, okay, so this is what we're offering as an honor room. She's like, you guys sure? You guys good? Because she knows we have either no budget or low budget. And I was like, yeah.
But she's also surprised that we would be doing productions along the lines of payment and so on.
Yeah,
and,
because we had a thing or have a thing of, if we can't give what your value is, it's time, so we try to. But I've always borne that in mind as a producer, that she stops to say, if you don't have it, you don't need to, or you sure is.
And that's not going to stop me from working.
Yes,
with you.
I've always appreciated that you have empathy. That stuck with me.
I'm happy you went there, because this is where I'm going, which is the quintessential Paula, empathy or empathetic, open. But there's some visible things that when you see even down the road or in the supermarket, you know that it is Paula.
Apart from the
Tell
hair.
us about the hair of Paula.
Good.
But she went blonde there was one period she went blonde.
Yeah,
It
tell
was
us about
rust, maybe.
I'm sorry. She told me that she had gray hair from sixth form or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I was graying. I got it from my mother,
Okay.
who tried to cover it up for many years, as did I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't meet in that phase.
Yeah. So I started graying from I was at high school. And as I said, I tried to cover it up.
Your hair doesn't look gray.
Yeah, it just looks like style.
It doesn't.
Blonde
you
kind of
you have to,
something.
my friend, you have to wake up with it every morning.
Yes.
And look in the mirror and
Yes.
see it. And some mornings it ain't easy. But
Yes,
you try to make it,
No, you made it yours. It's amazing. You have been inspired by others. You would have inspired a generation of people as well. Your daughter, you mentioned earlier that she dances.
She's a choreographer as well.
She is. Yeah.
Tell
She
us a little bit about that, and how have you done any collab with her?
No.
The great Jessie Shaw.
Let me tell you, we stand on opposite sides of the room when we are working. And I guess that comes out of a little insecurity on her part. I've asked her to give an eye to me, and she did actually.
She did actually one of our productions. You had brought her in to work with us on one of the earlier ones. I think we have been Run the Track.
Okay,
what's on the track?
from the point of view of the style and the moves.
Yes, 'cause it was
right. Young people thing, pop thing, yeah. But she did, what's the word? I can't find the word. She did one of her first pieces of choreography with Lakadka. She did Dedicated, that's the word, to her mother, which she didn't tell me before. She's like her dad, very scarce of words.
Yes.
She communicates by osmosis with her dad, not so much with me, but we think that's because her father says it's because she's very much like me.
Oh.
But but we haven't collaborated on choreography per se. She's actually got to the point where she can ask my opinion, confident enough to ask my opinion on something. And I love that, because I would love to teach. One of the things I'd love to do in my next life is teach choreography, like Doris Humphrey, which The Art of Making Dances is my go-to reference book. But yeah, to understand that you can pick up a stone and look at the shape of the stone and feel the smoothness of the stone and use those elements in your choreography.
You know, I mean, she just did that, and there was a whole dance
Yeah,
movement that was just coming there, and I can just see you doing the stone.
And immediately you have a visual. It reminded me of Movement 1, because we had to do Movement at drama school. I don't know if they still do it now. Movement 1, Movement 2. And it was really about getting the actor aware of their body with simple things as stone, because sometimes you're miming the thing and you have to convince the audience that there is a stone in your hand and you're not in your hand. So I would love to see you do that. What do you want to be remembered for?
Good work. Good work. Good work. Good work. Making people look good.
Paula, 2, maybe 4 things that are amazing about you, but we don't know. Tell us something we don't know about you.
I pride myself on being able to work with difficult people.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I learn fast. So like, and I'm talking like outside theater, but even inside there, I learn quickly. I think I learn quickly. How many you said? I only got 2.
2. 2 is good enough.
Yeah, 2 is good. Yeah.
So.
Oh no, there's one more thing.
Yes, but wait, there's more.
Yes. I'm an ardent people watcher. I love watching people.
That's true.
At Laban, you had a whole course called movement observation. And yeah, I love watching people and I make up stories about them.
That's the only thing I miss about taking the bus, public transportation, because I like to listen, I like to eavesdrop, and I like to watch people and make up my own backstory. Even in
Absolutely, I love that.
even in classes, when I was in my master's program, I should be paying more attention. I made up backstories about people who came into class after I did. I just found it was more interesting. So yeah, I understand completely. Makes good
watching
content
people.
for writing and making up stories. But this has been wonderful, speaking with you, finding out more about your journey as a choreographer, as a director of movement. And I look forward to when we work together again.
Indeed.
Thank you for being Shaw Paul.
Yes. Thank you for coming from behind the curtain, backstage
to front curtain.
front of curtain.
Which I do not like, but I would do it for you.
And we appreciate it.
We
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
it.
Speaking of appreciation,
Yes.
there is a bit of...
Oh, come on.
So I've written a few books. Well, this is one of them. This one is the first one I finally published. Yes, let her take it on herself.
Ta-da.
I hope you enjoy the words of it. So it's signed. Yes, it is signed.
Thank you, guys.
Don't know.
I mean, you know, no words.
Yeah.
Just holy love.
Breathing space. Yeah.
Love.
Yes, thank you for giving us breathing space as emerging young artists. I know we said it already, but for real.
Yeah, and I've peeked at it before. So yeah, but there's nothing like a hard copy. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
So let's see who next we'll get to sit with and talk to on Curtain Call, where we get to find out their journey from behind the curtain to in front of the curtain.